So when did do you remember when you first started watching? Like, do you have a clear memory of your first match or first show or anything?
No, I kind of like the earliest memory I have is just a random superstars, and I couldn't even tell you. I mean, I know it was Bam Bam Bigelow. Is like kind of my earliest, like if I dig deep in the memory banks, but I also know I liked it before then. Just I just can't remember a time I wasn't enamored by pro wrestling. I always say uh Hulk Hogan was the dude that caught my interest first, just because he was a cartoon. I was a big cartoon, I mean, the 80s were just such a different time. If you were, if you had a cartoon series, you were beyond superstar status. You were everything. And to find out that this dude was real, like, oh my God. So, I would tune in to see Hogan, but I stayed because Savage. Uh, Randy Savage was just that guy that, like, you never knew what you were going to get, but you always knew it was going to be something awesome. He's the guy that, in the same promo can laugh and cry and yell and scream and speak real softly and make you listen. It just, he always had different gear, which is big to me. He had the glasses, he had the robes. But yeah, I mean, just I can't remember a time in my life where pro wrestling wasn't in it.
No, absolutely. And you touched on a few great things there. For one, Macho Man Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan's great. I personally think like a lot of modern fans can't appreciate his impact, especially how big he
Never.
was. And it,
Yes.
even I mean, I wasn't born yet in the '80s, but I was in the '90s, right? So I saw the second run of his massive career because that's what people don't forget.
Yes.
There's been a few guys who have had one massive run. He's had two massive runs.
Two. Yeah, no, the whole NWO thing is just like I lived it, I remember very vividly. I didn't watch Bash at the Beach 96 live because I was actually helping out at an indie show.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and for whatever reason they were running a Sunday night, and so and thank God this is the era before cell phones and all that stuff and spoilers. So like it's not like anybody in the building was like, oh my God, it was Hogan, I had no clue. I had a buddy that had the illegal black box, and he knew I was going to this show to help out. He recorded Bash at the Beach for me. And so when I got home that night, he gave me the VHS tape that he recorded. And he was like, and he wouldn't tell me, thank God. He didn't tell me who the third member was. But he gives me this VHS, and I go home and I'm just like, oh. And I mean, that whole Hollywood Hogan run was so different than the 80s run, but yet it was so big, like his 80s run. It's unreal. Uh, what all, I mean, Hogan's career just is insane.
No, absolutely. It's spectacular. And then with Savage, the thing that was great about him is even like as a kid, there was an air of unpredictability where
Yes.
obviously when I wasn't even smart yet, I just knew like he could fly off the handle at any time and you didn't know what to expect. Even if you kind of knew what to expect with everything else, with him there was a magic there.
Absolutely. And he was the guy that, like, he was the first guy when the Mega Powers exploded, like I said, uh, Hogan drew me in, but Savage was the guy that kept me. And when the Mega Powers exploded, I was genuinely torn because, like, I know what Savage was doing was quote unquote bad, but like that was still my dude. So like he was the first heel that I was like, you know what? It's okay. I'm still gonna cheer for him, and I'm what 89, I'm 7 years old, battling, good versus evil. And it just I couldn't not, I would find myself like at 5, I wanted Hogan to win. I was happy Hogan won. But then like in subsequent weeks, I was just like, I think I want Randy Savage to be champ again.
That's great. And I get it though, because that's how I was with the Undertaker. He was always my favorite, like from a young age, you know. And it's funny
Yes,
because he was
yes.
terrifying, but you know, when I was in that sweet spot of like 5 or 6, he was like in his prime babyface run at the time of like 96, 97. And
Yeah.
then the ministry happened and he's feuding with the Undertaker and or with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and
With
everybody's gonna
Austin,
be
yeah.
Austin's side. But I was sitting there cheering for the guy who wanted to embalm Austin with Paul Bearer.
Yes. Yes.